took a rather different route to the National Football League and now to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He didn't play at high school in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. He played college football at St. Bonaventure. He was an undrafted free agent who made the Steelers in 1951. But his route to the football at cornerback was very certain. He had 52 interceptions in only 9 seasons with the Steelers. Remember, they did not throw the football like they do it now. Oh, by the way, they played only 12 games a year. He had 4 interceptions in 1 game in 1953, which is still tied for an NFL record, which, by the way, was first set, amazingly, by Sammy Baugh, described in his day as a, quote, player's player. This member of the NFL's all-decade team of the 1950s, at long last, at 84 years young, has his day in the sun. He is presented by his son, John.
I think that Day's game would have been a star. You just watch some of the old films, just how he moved. And boy, he was a smooth guy.
Jack Butler jumps into the picture to hijack Thomason's toss and kill Philadelphia's hopes of pulling the game out of the fire.
What I think made him good, he's the hardest working guy I've ever seen. He always stressed discipline. You have to do things every day, every day, every day.
Jack Butler never played high school football. He was in a Carmelite monastery up in Niagara Falls.
After high school, he decided against becoming a priest. His father actually was friends with Mr. Rooney, Sr., and they suggested he go to St. Bonaventure's in New York. While he was there, he was rooming with a bunch of football players. And he said that's all they ever did, talk about football, football, football. So he decided to give it a shot. That's how it started.
And then he became a scholarship guy and tried out for the Steelers as a free agent.
The last cut came down to him and another guy. The other guy actually got drafted into the Army. So my father wound up making the team as a defensive end. I guess that was the only position that they had open.
During the first game, the defensive back got hurt, and they figured Butler was the guy to put in. I think he intercepted the pass in that game. For the next 9 years, he was an all-pro defensive corner.
Pittsburgh's Jack Butler steps into the picture to make a leaping interception.
He wound up in 9 years having 52 interceptions. In those years, 51 to 59. That was the most of any player in the league during that span.
The Colts can conquer the final hurdle. He's the late leading pass interceptor, Jack Butler.
My brother Mike was a scout in the league for a long time. And he always says every former player from those times, they never talked about how many interceptions my dad had. They always talked about how tough he was and how big a hitter he was. That's the impression that they were left with.
Jack Butler left more than an impression. His 4 interceptions against the Redskins in 1953 are tied for the most ever in a single game. In 9 seasons with the Steelers, Butler was a 3-time All-NFL first-team selection and was named to 4 Pro Bowls before a severe knee injury ended his playing days in 1959. But that led to the second act of his pro career, as a scout for an organization called Blesto.
The Steelers and the Lions, I believe, and the Eagles decided, instead of having all our guys run all over the country, scouting the same players, why don't we split it up and share the information? And that's how Blesto started.
And Jack, in the second year of Blesto, became the director. He'd do scouting, but he was a tremendous administrator. You figure that there's about 1,000 guys a year that you would develop for your draft list. You do it for 40 years. Jack was responsible for scouting, or having scouted, over 40,000 players. I think Jack's Hall of Famers going to the Hall of Fame this time. He scouted all of these people.
I think this really means a lot to my dad. When we were at the Super Bowl, the day after he's already in, and he kept asking me, is this for real? Is it over? Is there another vote? Is this it? Over and over, yes, this is it. You're in the Hall of Fame. And we were just ready to go to bed. And he just looked at me and he just said, 100%. And I said, yes, 100%. You're in the Hall of Fame. I'm honored to present Jack Butler for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Jack Butler for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, John Butler.